guys, Brendan255, and today I'm going to go over what mods you can do to your 05 to 09 Mustang to take it from something that's basic to something that's awesome. Now I'm firstly going to address the fact that yes, my Mustang is a V6, and also to make it worse, it is an automatic, but in the future I do have plans on engine swapping it. The reason why I got a V6 is because, well, I'm a college student, I did have to buy the car myself, so you know, I have to pay for gas and insurance, so it was smart for me just to get a V6 for now until later I could get V8. But no, at least what I could do was make it look cool. So if the money I saved from not buying a V8, I was able to put it into parts pretty much. So that's why today I'm going to show you what you could do to just make any Mustang or your Mustang look awesome. So the first mod I'm going to show you today is a chin spoiler. So I'd really recommend buying one of these because they're somewhat cheap, but also they look super cool. Now, I went for the unpainted version because I'm not a big fan of what the painted versions look like. But it's just personal preference. Anyways, this chin spoiler was pretty easy to put on. I would recommend though, if you do put one on, that when you're doing it, to lift up your car just a little bit so that it makes it easier to when you're drilling the holes for the pins. And also, when you're driving around, make sure you're careful of potholes or dips, because obviously I wasn't being careful enough and I broke mine right in the middle, so I'm gonna have to buy a new one. But I mean, it's totally worth it. I think they look super cool. So the next mod I'm going to cover are hood pins. Now the hood pins that I have are the hood pin appearance kit, which pretty much at the time I was not comfortable drilling holes in my hood, so I just got stick-on ones. Now what's cool about these though is the fact that this part, the wire part, is connected to the bottom side of the hood, so that every time I open up the hood I don't have to unpin it, which makes it super nice. But also another good part about these is that they're a bit cheaper than normal hood pins. The next mod that I'd highly recommend is a hood scoop. Now these things look super cool, especially because they give like a whole new look to your hood, but when you pair them with the hood pins and the chin spoiler, they look super great, especially from the front. Also, it looks really good from the side too. I'd say the installation was fairly easy. It wasn't too bad. Just make sure you have the right drill bit, and also that the templates they give you don't really fit, or they don't really work, so you have to measure yourself. I'd say they're not too badly priced. They're okay. Oh yeah, one more note before I move on to the next mods is that all the pre-painted parts are a bit more expensive. They're over $300 each or $200 each, one of the two. But so I mean, it kind of sucks, but I mean, in the end, they're well worth it. So I guess like the next two mods would be the rear view mirror cover plus also the door handle cover. Now the reason why I went with chrome for my car is because it looks really good with the Vista Blue. I mean, I also do like the painted cover for this, but I don't know, so the chrome looks great with this color. But I wouldn't do it for another car, like red would kind of look bad, or gray. I don't think it looks really good with the chrome, but just these two colors look really good together. They're really easy to install, you just really clip on, and they're really cheap. So I mean, it's a cheap mod that looks really good, and it just, you know, transforms the look of your Mustang, just, you know, just enough. It stands out. Okay, now moving on to more pre-painted parts. So another thing I'd really recommend also is covers for your rear windows, because I think Mustangs look pretty cool with, you know, just the window itself. The back windows look cool, but I mean, you have something covering it up, it looks a lot more, I don't know, like race car-y. But I went with the louvers. They also do have the really cool like Shelby style scoops, which are also awesome, but for me that just looked like too many scoops in my car for me, so I went with just the louvers, which they also do look really cool from the inside, so that's also another plus. And from there actually, I'd also recommend side scoops, which also look super cool too, especially from the side. I went with the Modern Muscle design ones because they have a more of like an open look. You also could get the, like, I think California Special ones, which are kind of like more close to the car and they aren't as open, but I mean, they still look pretty cool. Both these parts are super easy to put on. Just all you have to do is stick them on pretty much. Just make sure they're even, because this side is a bit further back from the window than the other side. I didn't measure, so that's one thing to really be careful of. So this next mod is something that I really would recommend, because the stock taillights look pretty cool, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm a fan of the 13-14 Mustang taillights, and so that's why I got these. And these look super cool, especially when they're off, because they're a little bit more blackened than the stock ones. So it's not as like red and in your face, but it looks, you know, a little bit more, I don't know what you call it, like toned down. But also like they look super cool at night when you have them on. So I mean, it's something I'd really recommend. They are a bit on the more expensive side, like $340, but it's well worth it. They're super easy to install. It's really just taking the wiring harness off the old lights, unscrewing it, screwing in these ones, and just putting them in. It's not that hard. Now the last outside, I guess, mod that I did, well, I didn't do it, but the previous owner did, but I'm gonna cover it, is rims. So I guess, I don't know, I more like black rims on cars, but I mean, like I said, the chrome with this blue looks pretty cool. And I was thinking about getting that maybe powder coated, like in the, I don't know, in the middle, but you know, they look good. They've kind of grown on me. They are the Foose, I think, like legendary rims or something. I can't really exactly remember the name, but they do look super nice. Oh, so one quick little, I guess, side mod or something that I'd recommend doing to a Mustang is stripes. So when I bought this Mustang, it had the stripes on it, and I really recommend stripes because they look cool. It adds like a race car look and feel to it. These were painted on, but the owner did say before they were some like vinyl thing. So it's like, I looked it up online, so you can get vinyl stripes to put on this. You don't have to necessarily get them painted on, which it'd be a lot cheaper option, but I'd really go for it. Also, I'd pair the stripes with side stripes like this, like the Mustang ones, which these are the vinyl ones I got from American Muscle. They're like, what, 80 bucks. Like, they're not that expensive, and like I said, super easy to put on, a lot cheaper, and they look pretty dang good. So now I'm gonna move on to the mods that are in the interior of my car. So to start, I got rid of the stock, radio, because it didn't have an aux cord port, but also just kind of, I don't know, just looked like too many buttons going on in the middle here. So what I did is I actually had it installed at Best Buy because, I don't know, at the time I wasn't really comfortable with modifying my car and doing stuff like that, but now I am. But so it was great because it just made my Mustang look a lot modern. Like, the whole center piece looks more modern now with the touchscreen, but also it's cool because it came with a little speaker, so now I actually have hands-free phone calls, which is really nice. And also, yeah, I have Pandora, and I actually have an aux port, you know, cord port, and lots of different things, like a GPS now. I would highly recommend it. So from there, I got this e-brake cover, which is super nice. I got it, I think, on sale. That's the only reason why I bought it, because I've always been kind of on the fence about it, because I didn't know if I liked the look that much or not. But I'm glad I did, because it looks good. I mean, it feels great, especially when you're disengaging it and engaging it. You know, it's like really nice, like, grip. But yeah, it was, like I said, it's cheap mod, it just slips on. It's super easy. And so I guess next from there, I guess like this is like a mini mod or something, I don't know. But what I did, I went on Amazon and found some cheap Mustang symbols. What I did is I attached it to the bottom part here, just so that when the airbag, if it does deploy, it'll just stick to this bottom part when it folds down. Now, I really like this because it kind of because the classic Mustangs had the symbol on the side, and I like that, and I think it looks really good. It kind of adds like more of a fancy touch to it. So the last mods I'm going to be covering are a rear seat delete, which is actually currently not attached because the pins sucked and they fell off or broke, and a harness bar. So if you're like me and you're going for like a race car look in your Mustang, I'd really recommend getting rid of your rear seats. They are super easy to get out. It's like a few clips and you just have to unbolt a few things. And it's just not in there, you know, it's not that hard to fit them out the door. But also, I'd also pair it with a harness bar. Now, I did buy harnesses for this, but they were 4-point, and I just didn't feel comfortable wearing a 4-point. I think 5-point's better than 4-point, but that's just my personal opinion. So the rear seat delete itself was like $100, fairly cheap, but this is more pricey because it's like $300, but it looks great. Super easy to install. It just attaches underneath your seatbelt thing, and also it goes down. I don't know if you can see it, because the bar goes down to the bottom. But it looks great. I did also pair it with a fire extinguisher just to give that extra race feel, and also, you know, safety and whatnot. Yeah, so that concludes, I guess, all the mods overall. So those are the mods that I recommend when you buy a Mustang or have a Mustang. Obviously, there is a lot more mods I'm going to do to it. I will cover those in the future. But also, I do encourage you just go on American Muscle and just look at different mods they have. There's lots of different things, and they all look really good. Also in the next video I'm going to cover why this thing isn't running yet, and also why it's important to buy to have a pink slip when you're buying something.